It's 12:03. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
This is the Gashouse Gang on your home of the St. Louis Cardinals. 1120 AM, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
And the delivery to Victor Scott is hit into right field. That's going to be down. Could be two. He rounds first. He's headed for second. And he is going to stand up at second. A leadoff double for Victor Scott, the second.
It is the Gashouse Gang, friends, talking Cardinals baseball and more with you here on KMOX every weekday from 12 until 1. I'm Chris Ranji. With me today, Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne. Claib's part of actually both of them part of the broadcast team. Matt Pauley's got pre and post game coverage tonight, and Mike Claiborne will be on the call. And also, we'll be talking with Jose Martinez at the Bullock live at Lowe's tonight. After the game, we'll have to pop over right across the stadium, right across the street from the stadium. Pop over there tonight, and you can catch that conversation. Claibs will be running that show. So, before we get to the baseball, which we are going to do today, we want to continue to remind you to donate at our website, kmox.com/Red Cross. That is the way we are going about helping out in the tornado relief effort. So kmox.com/Red Cross, and all of the money that you donate with that link is going to stay right here in the area. We've had the tornadoes here on the St. Louis side of the river, on the Illinois side of the river. So all of that money stays right here in the area. kmox.com/Red Cross. At last check, we were just over $190,000 donated. And we're about 192 at this point. So thank you to everybody who has donated there. So Claibs and Matt Pauley, we are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at KMOX Sports. You can watch us there. You can send us a message if you want to comment on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We will see it, and maybe we'll talk about what you want to talk about. Also, 314-436-7900. All right, Cardinals just dropped a series against the Detroit Tigers. They've got the Diamondbacks in town tonight. And I know Matt Pauley was on the Gashouse Gang or on the Chris and Amy show with us earlier this week, and we were talking about, this particular series against the Tigers. And Claibs, what do you think you can gain from watching a series like that against a team that is hot? I mean, Detroit is very, very good this year, and the Cardinals lost 2 of 3. They had a chance to take 2 of 3. What did you think after the series?
Well, I thought the Detroit Tigers, who, by the way, have the best record in baseball, really gave the Cardinals an idea of where they want to be. And when you think about the 2 losses, they lost, by 1 run. And you think about the fact they had the tie run at the plate in the 9th inning in both of those games, tells me that they're a lot further along than maybe some people thought they would be. So that was a good test for them. They can learn from it and just realize what they need to do in order to be in that high echelon of ball clubs in baseball.
I'm not uncomfortable with that series at all. They knocked Tarek Skubal out of a game. Skubal's been the best pitcher in baseball over the last couple of years, and they could have easily won that game. It's a little bit of a bummer that they didn't, because you want to win series right now. The final game of the series, they didn't look great, but over 162 games, you get some of those. That's just the part of a baseball season. So they could have easily taken 2 out of 3 from Detroit. They didn't. I do think this is a period of time, though, where a lot of fans are trying to decide whether or not to kind of go all in on this team or not. So it would probably help if they could go ahead and take 2 out of 3 from Arizona. Just whatever bad taste, and there shouldn't be a bad taste, but whatever bad taste might exist in the mouth of some people who are starting to kind of pay attention a little bit, you can get rid of that real quickly by going and taking care of business over the next 3 days.
And Arizona's a good team. It's not like a great team is coming into town. Yeah, I agree with you. I think you should take 2 of 3 here, especially the way they've played at home, and especially knowing that with just a couple of exceptions this year, guys, they're in every game. They have legit opportunities to win. It's not that same cliche that anytime you go out there, you have a chance to win. No, I mean, we're talking late in games. They are still in those games. Now, you need to win those games, right? But the fact that they do give themselves a real legit opportunity in the 8th and 9th inning to win, I think is a good sign. Just a matter of converting on those. So all that together, knowing you're you're playing at home. They should take 2 of 3 here.
Well, they'd like to take all 3 of them, but to your point, this is a winnable series, and I think part of the issue with them coming up short, I think that's part of the growth process of learning how to win and how to finish teams off, and catching teams and things of that nature. And as you said, Matt Pauly said earlier, it's part of 162, and with each game, you try and come away with something to build on for the next game. And for those who want to look far down the road, you can't do that as a player or as a manager. You have to think about who you're playing right now and how you're going to figure out how to beat somebody tonight. And you figure out tomorrow when it gets here.
Yeah, that's just baseball. Teams that if you focus too much on the wins because if you focus too much on the wins, well, then you're going to focus too much on the losses as well. I think Oliver Marmol has said it this year, Claves, where every day has to be a new day, and you have to put yesterday into that rearview mirror very quickly, whether it was a good result or a bad result. So this Detroit series is in the rearview mirror. I don't know about you guys. I love the pitching matchups here. The guys they'll face 3 good Arizona pitchers. Zach Gallen's not having the year that he normally has, but he's very good. Merrill Kelly, Brandon Pfaadt, each putting together good seasons. And then Michaelis, Liberatore, and Gray, all 3 of those guys are on a pretty good run right now. So I think this series is really intriguing for a number of reasons. Arizona's a good team. I think they're better than their record would indicate. They're going to throw out 3 legit dudes. Cardinals are going to throw out 3 legit dudes. Cardinals have been good at home. Like, there's just a lot of very intriguing, compelling things about what we're going to see over the next 3 days.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Matt. The moon and stars are aligned in the right direction right now for the Cardinals. You're coming off a day off. Your bullpen should be reasonably rested and ready to go. You don't have anyone with any really nagging injuries of any sort. So you should be in a good spot. And then you think about this series against Arizona. You go on the road. You're going to Baltimore. Okay, Baltimore is not having a very good season. And then you go to Texas, and they're trying to figure themselves out. So you really have a chance to do some damage standings-wise in this upcoming week.
And the Cardinals have been offensively, they've been there. I mean, there have been nights where they've stranded a bunch of runners in scoring position, not been able to score. That happened during the Tigers series, but it's not been really a problem for them. You're going to have those games, right? I mean, you're going to have them. Yeah, you're going to have those nights where you just can't get the big hit. Okay, until it becomes a thing where it's happening all the time. I can't be upset about the way they've been performing offensively.
No, this is a different team compared to last year where you look up and down the lineup, there isn't an easy out. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to always score, but you think about how many double-digit hit nights they've had this season. I mean, it far exceeds anything we were at this time last year.
Yeah, the overall numbers are the overall numbers, and I'm very comfortable with where they're at. Is there some inconsistencies? Yeah, there's inconsistencies, but there's inconsistencies with just about every team in baseball. Our friend Bernie Miklas wrote over at Sports Hub STL in his column yesterday. He went through kind of some of the inconsistencies. So this is from Bernie. I thought it was interesting, though. 50 games in the season, the Cardinals have scored 5 or more runs 24 times. Only 5 teams in Major League Baseball have done that more frequently. They have 10 or more runs 6 times, tied for 4th highest total. At the same time, they've scored 1 or no runs 11 times, and they have no Major League offense has been held to exactly 1 run in a game more times than the Cardinals. So that's from Bernie's column over at Sports Hub STL. It's interesting just how the next step for this team offensively is to find a little bit more consistency, but I think they're going to get there, and I'm very comfortable with where the numbers, no matter what metric you're looking at, the Cardinals are a top 10 offense in Major League Baseball by many metrics. They're a top 5 offense in Major League Baseball. So if we really want to get picky and start complaining about things, there are some consistency issues, but some of that, again, is just baseball being baseball.
Yeah, those aren't things that I really worry about yet because of all the things this season that have been, I guess, somewhat concerning. I would not say that the offense, generally speaking, has been one of them. There are a couple of guys in the lineup I'd like to see more from. Obviously, Jordan Walker is number one, and I know that there are some people who are tired of talking about Walker and bringing him up all the time, but I think it matters because he's your future, right? He's part of or supposed to be a big part of your future, and wondering what he's going to do, is important. What Walker does productively from here on out is important because he is the next step for the Cardinals, right? And Nick is writing in and wondering if we think that we're going to see more Walker and Gorman in the lineup together. It did not seem to go well last time. Nick is checking in from Salt Lake City. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I'm not sure what he's talking about last time. Are you talking about Wednesday when they were both in the lineup?
Because they're rarely in the lineup together, so I'm not sure either. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know where he's going with that. The unfortunate thing for Nolan Gorman, there just isn't room at the end right now as far as trying to get him in the lineup on a regular basis. When you think about the positions that he plays, either he's going to DH, and Alec Burleson's doing a really good job of that from the left side. Is he going to play second base? Well, is he going to play in front of Brendan Donovan, who's the best hitter on your team? Or is he going to play third base where Nolan Arenado's there and he's your best defensive third baseman? So it's really kind of a challenge. And you try and find those righty-lefty matchups and the ones that aren't, those pitchers who aren't necessarily strikeout guys. He's fought the strikeout Nolan Gorman ever since he's been in the game. So you don't want to have him going up against a swing and miss guy. You're trying to find a guy where maybe he's a fly ball pitcher that you can put him in the lineup there. But it's just been a real challenge for Ali to get Nolan Gorman those back-to-back days in the lineup.
And it's getting tougher with Walker, too. Everything Clave just said is 100% spot on. But now that Alec Burleson is really in a hot streak right now, and you're especially against if you're facing a righty, it's really hard to keep him out of the lineup. Well, that pushes Walker out. So you've already pushed Gorman out. Ivan Herrera, your best lineup right now has Ivan Herrera as your DH and Pedro Pajes behind the plate. So if you've got Herrera as the DH, Contreras has to be over at first. If you really want Burleson in the lineup, the only spot for him is in right field. There's no room for Nolan Gorman. So it is a challenge right now. Walker's going to continue to get more opportunities than Gorman is. And the thing that bums me out about this, and it's kind of a twofold thing, because one side of it is I'm really happy the team is winning. I'm really happy there's a bunch of guys who are performing. They're doing all these things that you want to see them do. But on the other side of it, if this is a year where you really want to give opportunities to Walker and Gorman, that's actually been slowed down a little bit by how good this team has been. And where that slows you down a bit is if Walker and Gorman are working on things in the cage every single day, you want to see the real results of that in a game. It's one thing to do it at 3:00 in the afternoon, but is this actually going to work? So if you're in the lineup 3, 4, 5 times a week, you can get real-time results on whether the stuff you're working on and trying to implement is actually good, or if you need to tweak in another direction. Because we're seeing those guys get less and less time, that process, I think, is actually going to take a longer time.
Yeah, Claves.
Matt,
go ahead, Claves.
Hit the nail on the head with regard to the fact that the lineup is backed up because they are winning, okay? And no matter what potential you think a player may have, that individual does not come before the team in the result of winning. And I really thought that at the beginning of the year, there was some who just felt, well, we'll go out and we'll make a mistake or two. We'll grow. We won't have the record that we would like to have. But that's all changed. You're actually in this thing as we speak on May 23rd. So how do you continue to try and win and also see these guys grow? Well, that's the challenge. And I don't know if there's one answer for it. So I truly, it's a day-to-day, maybe inning-to-inning situation where, as we saw recently, Jordan Walker was replacing Alec Burleson in the outfield late in the ballgame. I mean, this time last year, you would have never thought about that. So we've seen growth in certain areas, but because they're winning, we're just not seeing as much from the younger players that you were hoping to see more of.
I want to get into that and how you guys think the manager has done in managing this part. A team that is right now competitive in the division, but also trying to raise some young players here too, because there is a balance that has to be reached. And I want to talk about that when we come back. Whatever your questions or comments are, feel free to jump in on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. We are at KMOX Sports, where you can follow us there. You can also text into the show, 314-436-7900, or from the Odyssey app, leave us a voice message. We'd like to hear from you. It is the Gashouse Gang, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Bernie Miklas here for Saliga Heating and Cooling. a Daikin comfort dealer. The Saliga family's been taking care of generations of St. Louisans since 1927. The Miklas family has relied on Saliga for about 17 years, and we well know that Saliga sets the standard for honesty, knowledge, professionalism, and prompt service. In our experience, Saliga has always looked for low-cost solutions to save us money, and Saliga can service all makes and models and can handle your heating and cooling needs for home or business. I recommend Saliga's Priority Club. It's a maintenance program that'll save you money by extending the life of your current equipment. You'll receive priority scheduling and have the comfort of knowing your home is safe and ready for all seasons. Family owned and operated for nearly 100 years, Saliga offers free estimates and financing options and still has the best and most trustworthy customer service in town. To find out more, call Saliga at 314-481-7883 or visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
If you are a shelter insurance policyholder and have damage to your home, car, farm, or business due to the recent storms, please call 1-800-SHELTER. That's toll-free 1-800-743-5837. Or report your claim online at shelterinsurance.com. Early reporting of your loss will help Shelter schedule adjusters to handle your claim. Take whatever reasonable steps you can to protect your property from additional damage and call 1-800-SHELTER to report your claim today.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9-million. That's 314-9 all zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
1120 AM, 1041 FM, and streaming on the Odyssey app. KMOX is with you, however you listen, wherever you listen.
If you're watching on YouTube, we love to see your comments. This one is coming from Scotty, who says, good afternoon, guys. Love listening in from Scotland. I think we get the series win.
Scotty, or do you think he's calling himself
Grand Slam
Scotty because he's in Scotland?
You know, I wasn't ready to parse that out, man. I have no idea. Okay. It could be anything. But Scotty here, that's what we're calling him, says he believes they get series wins the next 3 series, but they need more from the bullpen. It is the Gashouse Gang. I don't know. He's in Scotland. There's a language barrier. They've been doing pretty well, I think, in terms of the bullpen. That has stabilized quite a bit since the beginning of the season. But in terms of what happens over the next several days, they got these 3 against the Diamondbacks. The Orioles, they'll be on the road for that, and they are not good. And then the Tigers, the Texas Rangers are okay. So the Rangers are all right. That's those are the 3 series they have coming up here. But
scares me in that.
What's
Baltimore? That? Like, Baltimore's not good. They have 0 pitching. They're a bad team. They're not as bad as their record would indicate they are. And anytime you're facing off against teams like that, it just scares me. So hopefully they continue to lose.
Like the wounded animal thing?
Yeah, you know, that is sort of team where you have to go in and break up their furniture very early. Give them no reason to think they can compete against you. And that's one of the things the Cardinals have been good at this year, scoring first and really trying to set the tone. But I think Matt's right, man. You know, you get one of those teams that you know is better on paper but they just haven't been able to put it together. And you just hope they put it together like next Thursday after you leave Baltimore.
You know what's a good example of that is Houston. Didn't they start 0-8 or something? It was pretty bad. And I thought, okay, it's a matter of time. Give the Astros time. And there they are, just, they're a couple of games over 500 now, and they're 2.5 out.
Braves. Braves had a really slow start to the season.
Right.
Yeah.
The only sure things this year, as far as getting off to a bad start and staying there, are Colorado and Chicago White Sox. Everybody else is going to they're going to stub their toe somewhere, and they'll be better. But those two teams, they were, if we had relegation in baseball, they would definitely be playing it in another level.
Well, the Pirates would be right there with them.
Pirates would be right on their heels. There's no doubt about that.
And you know what? That's infuriating from a baseball fan perspective. Like, I don't care if the Pirates are good, but also I kind of care that they try. Like, I want the Pirates organization to try, and I think it sucks for baseball that they don't.
Yeah, that's a good point that we see more and more of. You can throw Miami in that conversation. Teams that don't even try, or on the surface don't try, and whether it's ownership, whether it's inability to develop talent or bad draft choices, it's a combination, and it seems like it's the same teams every year that fall into this situation, and there's no real penalty other than being in last place or being, the laughing stock of the league. And apparently they don't care because they keep making the same mistakes.
Or in the case of
the checks,
or in the case of the A's, you get to do that, and then you get rewarded with the new stadium in a new city.
Yeah, that's the one I don't get, why Major League Baseball would allow them to move to a new market. Vegas is a town where we've seen with the Vegas Knights and how they've been received. The Raiders, they're going to have a following no matter where they are. But the A's didn't even have a following in Oakland. So what makes you think that somebody's going to run to see them in Vegas when they were bad in Oakland? And I just felt that Major League Baseball would have been better served to put an expansion team there compared to allowing a team that had no real history, no real background over the last 40 years to allow them to go into a very fertile market.
Yeah, it's funny, Claves, you and I, we've got a friend who's part of the A's broadcast, and we see him every year at the winter meetings. And we were there this year. He was telling us how Sacramento is going to be the biggest ticket, and it's sold out every single day, and this is going to be amazing. And they may be playing in a minor league ballpark, but it feels so much better. Like, they sold out opening night, and crowds have been pretty terrible compared to other major league teams here since then. It is not, if Sacramento decided they were going to use this as an opportunity to show themselves that they can be a major league city, well, they've showed themselves that they shouldn't be a major league city.
No, they've shown that they're baseball fans who know bad baseball when they see it. That's the problem. I mean, again, this organization has not done anything, and now they're trying to sign a couple of players. I give them credit for that, but in the past, they've just let it go to hell.
Yeah.
And the Pirates are in that boat. The Marlins are in that boat. The White Sox, they've been in that boat for a long time. And Colorado is just, it's miserable. It's miserable to be able to watch them. I'm glad they're in the National League, though, most of them, because the Cardinals get a chance to play them.
That is right. I mentioned before the break, guys, we were talking about the Cardinals trying to balance, giving playing time to younger guys and, the working through that transition and evaluation period, which they are in, but also trying to win games now that the division is there for them. And they're only 3 games out of it right now, which implies that they're probably going to hang around the Cubs at least for a while, if not all the way through the end of the season. So how good of a job do you think Ollie Marmol has done in balancing those two things?
I think he's done a really good job. And here's why. Not knowing what this was going to look like at the start of the season, and still being able to manage up and coach up players that, have been beyond a pleasant surprise. And I look at a guy like Victor Scott II. Where was he at this time last year? He was in the minors, and he's come up and he took the job to play center field. The transition for Wilson Contreras to go to first base. He's playing as good at first base as anyone out there right now. And then being able to address the catching situation with Pajes and also Yoel Pozo, they've done a really nice job behind the plate. So, and then throw in the fact that we thought Herrera was going to be basically your everyday catcher. Well, the two gentlemen I just mentioned have seen that that's not going to happen, but they put a bat in his hand, and he's been one of the best hitters on the ball club. So there are a lot of things I think Ali has done right, along with managing a bullpen, which I think is the hardest thing in sports, or one of the hardest things in baseball to do, is manage a bullpen. And the fact that his starters have given him more length, he hasn't had to burn up the bullpen because guys can only go 5 innings or 4 innings. So I think overall, I think this is his best work.
Yeah, sometimes this organization can be a little slow to react. I think he's done a good job of reacting to things, maybe a little bit quicker than has been done in the past. Now, I'm sure some fans out there's been some moments, whether it's, sending a Ryan Fernandez down or making another move here or there. Maybe there's some fans who would have liked for a move to be made a little sooner, but I think as a manager, you got to be patient, and sometimes you got to see the way things play out. The bullpen situation is a great example. You had to walk through a house that was on fire to get to this other side of it, and he did that, and all of us are yelling and screaming about what they should do with the bullpen. Well, what the answer was, let this thing play out a little bit and then see where it's at, and obviously it's a lot better. This team was 5 games under 500 just a month plus ago. At that point, you're doing things a little bit different. To the team's credit, they lifted themselves up. They started winning games. And then it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where all of a sudden now you're in it. So you got to put your best lineup out there more often than not. So I think there's been a lot of times this year where he's had to pivot, where he's had to adjust to the situation, sometimes not adjust to the situation and do that very purposely because of what might happen next. And I think he's done a really nice job all the way around.
And the other thing is this: he doesn't buy the groceries here. Okay, he manages the players that he's been given, and I'm sure if you ask him what would you like, he would probably tell you, I'd like to have a little bit more length in the bullpen. I like to have this. I like to have. Well, he's doing what he's been given, and I think what he's been saddled with, and maybe saddle's the wrong word here, but what he's been assigned to do is manage the team, the players that he has, and I think he's done a really good job at that, and he's made some players better. I don't think there's any question about that. He and the staff, because the staff does a lot of work, and so you have to give them credit as well.
I'll say this. I am more than satisfied with the way it's been handled and the answer he gave. I know, Matt, you mentioned Ryan Fernandez and maybe reacting to some fans liking not quickly enough. I think you're waiting on a guy who was really good for you before to be good again, and you're giving him opportunities. I think he handled that perfectly fine. I know a lot of fans will disagree with that, but I think he did fine there. And in terms of the bullpen overall, they have been given a lot of help from the starters. They have only pitched 83 innings in the last month. There are only 2 other teams who have thrown fewer innings out of the bullpen. That is a huge relief. I'm not trying to make a pun here, but that is a huge relief that starters have gone deeper into games, and therefore the bullpen has performed a lot better. Matt Pauley, we will talk to you soon. We'll be listening into the pregame show tonight, 6:20. See ya.
Thank you. Bye.
Mike Claiborne sticks around. John Rooney is next.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Concerned about where your retirement is heading? Is it on track to meet your needs and goals? Are taxes and inflation a constant worry? Well, you can join Jerry Means for What Retirement Means to You, powered by Means Financial Group, and find out how their team can help guide you to that retirement you've always dreamed of. Tune into What Retirement Means to You with Jerry Means, Saturdays at 3 on KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. More details at meansfinancialgroup.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Mark Cantor at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, so I take this very seriously. Mark is a great attorney. He has a great team. He is from St. Louis. He is local. Call 314-628-9999 or visit cantorinjurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
In the aftermath of a devastating tornado, your generosity has made a real difference. Thanks to donors like you, the Red Cross is providing shelter, meals, and hope to families in crisis. But the need isn't over. Please, if you can, give today. Every dollar helps deliver critical relief and comfort when it's needed most. And every dollar stays right here in St. Louis. Visit KMOX.com/Red Cross to donate now.
Now, the John Rooney Conversation on KMOX, sponsored by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you're a Missourian, we're for you.
Herrera smacks it. Deep right center field. Back toward the wall. That ball's gone. A home run for Ivan Herrera. 2-1 Cardinals. His 5th home run of the year and his first since he returned from the injured list.
Cardinals start a series tonight against the Diamondbacks at Busch Stadium. That is the voice of John Rooney. We're with Mike Claiborne, Chris Ranji on the Gashouse Gang. Time to bring in John Rooney. He is the voice of the team, part of the broadcast tonight, and the pregame show, which will happen at 6:20. First pitch, 7:15. John, let's talk about this Diamondbacks series that is about to happen at Busch Stadium as you look ahead to it. And knowing the way the Cardinals have been playing lately, you know, how do you feel about this series about to start?
Here's another good team that the Cardinals are facing on the schedule, and the Diamondbacks are in a heated division where right now you're looking at the Dodgers and San Francisco, San Diego. They're all jockeying for position, but the Diamondbacks aren't that far behind. And they have Ketel Marte, and they have Carroll, and they have some really good players. And they have some good pitching. Zach Gallen, a former Cardinal farmhand, he's on the downside for his record, under 500 right now, but that doesn't diminish his ability and his capabilities. He's going to be a tough guy to deal with, but we have Gallen against Michaelis in game 1 tonight, and I know the Cardinals are definitely looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, John, it seems like the Cardinals, when you look at the schedule, they face some really good teams. And you and I and some other guys, we talk to Ali every day, and he's excited for this challenge at this point, knowing that he has a team that can compete with everyone. But from where you sit, what do you think has been the biggest difference for how this team has turned out to be more competitive than maybe some thought at the beginning of the year?
Well, first you start with the base, Claves, and the fact that a lot of these guys on the roster have major league experience. And I think a little bit beyond their years, and some other players who may be coming along in other systems, like Mason Wynn has had some time, and Jordan Walker, he's still trying to figure some things out, but I like the way he's going about it. And you have Victor Scott, who was dedicated to the cause, but he had some experience last year. So they've taken that experience. They've worked in with a couple of new coaches, and they've worked very well with John Jay and what Brant Brown has been able to do with what he's added to the Cardinals' hitting approach. I think they've bought into all of this, and I think that is the biggest difference from what we saw at the end of last year to what we're witnessing right now. They feel like they're in every game. The Cardinals have been in all but 2 games, and it didn't seem like they were in that one the other day, though, that ended the series with Detroit, because they just couldn't seem to get much going against the Detroit bullpen. But I know they'll come out firing tonight, and they'll give the Diamondbacks the best effort, as that's one thing we've noticed, and I noticed since I came to the Cardinals in 2006. The Cardinals get everybody's best effort when that series begins, and it will be no different with Arizona tonight. But I like the way the players have gone about the approach.
Jeff Passan with ESPN, well-respected baseball reporter, wrote about the Cardinals and their defense and how good it's been. He went in depth on it just a couple of days ago. Just from watching the team, John, how noticeable is it with the eye test what the Cardinals look like defensively?
Look at the win and loss column, Chris. That's where it's noticeable. And they've taken runs away, and they've helped their pitchers. And at a time where the Cardinals were trying to line up the bullpen. But the outfield defense is markedly improved. Really good with Jordan Walker no longer trying to feel his way through what he should be doing in the outfield, how he should run a route. I mean, he's put in the time, and give him the credit for the improvement. John Jay's worked very well with him, but that has been a good relationship. How John has him going in the right direction, and Walker has been able to take it from there. And it's still a learning curve for Victor Scott II because he doesn't have as much major league time, but he is really getting the knack of taking runs away. Lars Nootbaar's doing the same thing. Made a good catch up against the sidewall the other day to get a big out in foul territory. And I like the way they're going about that. It's very good.
That's what I think will clearly it's helping the pitching staff out, especially a team that does pitch to contact quite a bit. It's not a high strikeout team, so the defense kind of has to be good here, John. So looking at them overall, and you know, I like paying attention to the division and where they are. I think it's good to just sort of keep tabs on what they look like compared to other teams, what the records look like, even if it's this early in the season. Do you care much about that?
No, I don't care much about it at all right now. As long as they can stay above 500 and keep winning series, that's what they want to do. I care about winning series at this point. Yes, we get to Memorial Day, and that's one of the big checkpoints, and we're going to be getting to Mike Claiborne's Flag Day here pretty soon. That's his first checkpoint. But right now, I care about winning series because we haven't played the Cubs yet. And with the fact we have to play everybody, and the Cubs have to do it too, but we haven't played the Cubs and we haven't played Milwaukee very much. We've seen Cincinnati a little bit. We're going to see a little more of them before too long. And we just don't play, to me, a schedule that you can really make a run in your division. So right now you need help. We get to September, I think we got 2 or 3 division opponents in September, which is ridiculous to me. Then do away with the divisions and just take the top 8 or whatever for the playoffs and go from there, because you really can't make a head-to-head run in many cases, even though the Cardinals are going to finish up the season against the Cubs, if indeed that's the team they're chasing, or if the Cardinals are the team the Cubs are chasing at that time. But as we get past the All-Star break, that's when I really start paying attention to the standings. Unless the team's far below 500, then I don't pay much attention to it at all. But right now, the Cardinals are over 500, playing well. They lost a series to a very good Detroit team. I don't think that is saying, oh, they're bad, because they're not. This is a pretty good Cardinal team and a very exciting Cardinal team. But we'll look head-to-head when we play the Cubs, and look head-to-head when we play Milwaukee. But beyond that, it's Arizona coming up, and then the Cardinals have to go play against Baltimore and Texas. So that's not the National League Central. And we'll see what the Cubs do when they play and what Milwaukee does, and Pittsburgh and Cincinnati after that. But right now, the standings don't mean much to me.
Hey, John, are we at the point now where baseball has to have a conversation with itself about the schedule and how the divisions are aligned? Because I don't know many people within the game who think this is a good idea on how we're playing each other as we speak. Baseball probably has to step back and say, okay, interleague play, it's fun, and maybe there's some rivalries there, but overall, I just don't see how this thing really makes the game better as far as the schedule is concerned.
Well, I don't either. And I didn't have any opinion when we went into it. Thought, well, that's novel. You play everybody, and that's going to be interesting. But the fact that Arizona comes in here once, and they're a league rival, I'd like to see the league rivals, everybody in the National League, come in twice. And we go there twice, and then fill in the schedule with some interleague. And then you don't have to worry about sitting there all night for a rain delay. I'm interested to see how these teams hold up and to see how much fatigue is involved as we get past the All-Star break, from the number of doubleheaders, the number of rain delays that you have to face because you need to get these games in, or eat up a day off somewhere down the line. That takes a toll on a team, and it takes a toll on pitching. To counteract that, you get an extra player for the doubleheaders, but it makes for some really long nights. And it seemed like with that doubleheader in Cincinnati, that 4-game trip seems as long as the 9-game trip we just came off of. So I think they do need to take a look at the schedule, and it has to be very expensive to play everybody right now with travel costs.
All right, John Rooney, 7:15 first pitch tonight at Busch Stadium. Cardinals and Diamondbacks pregame show at 6:20. We will be listening in.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you tonight, Claves.
All right, John, take care.
And Mike Claiborne, by the way, again, will be live at Lowe's tonight. That is after the post-game show, after Matt Pauley's post-game show is done. And he'll be there. Jose Martinez will be there. So stop over at the Bullock, live at Lowe's, right across the street from the ballpark, out that left field side. It's very easy to find. It's really good. Great patio. It'll be, I think, nice tonight. So come on out there. Yeah, it might be a little cool.
Yeah, and the cold weather, so this is going to be a little bit of a challenge for me. But Chip Carey is going to be my guest co-host this evening, as Ricky Horton's on assignment. So it'll be Chip and myself and Jose Martinez, one of my favorite players. This guy came to the ballpark with so much life every day, and man, there was a point where he could just rake. I mean, if there's nothing else he could do, he could hit. And I'm looking forward to having a chance to visit with him.
Yep, Jose Martinez tonight, Mike Claiborne's guest, along with Chip Carey. Two things. First of all, we have tickets to give away for the game Sunday. A 4-pack of tickets to see the Cardinals and Diamondbacks at Busch Stadium. And here's how you can win them. Be caller number 6 to the contest line at 955-1120. That is 314-955-1120. 4-pack of tickets for the Cardinals, Diamondbacks. Also, more importantly, I think we are still taking your donations, and we will be. KMOX.com/Red Cross. It is the tornado relief effort. The storm that came through town a week ago today, devastating parts of St. Louis City and over into Illinois as well. And I'm telling you, you folks here in St. Louis have done very well in the last about 30 hours. Over $193,000 donated, and we need more because this effort it's going to be ongoing and it is going to be costly. So there are a lot of people out there who do need your help. So KMOX.com/Red Cross. All the money donated will stay here in the St. Louis area. It's very important that you know that. I've got Mike Claiborne with me. A little bit to go here on the Gashouse Gang. Let us know what you want to talk about, what you're thinking, what's on your mind, what your questions are. 314-436-7900. Voice messages on the Odyssey app, or you can leave a message if you're watching the show on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events, so call your Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance agent or visit mofbinsurance.com to find an agent near you, and we'll make sure you have the right coverage for each of life's wins.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. We're for Missouri families and Missouri communities. We're for giving back to those communities and lifting people up. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, we're for helping put back the pieces. We're for brighter days and new tomorrows. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you live in Missouri, we're for you.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Land Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-280-2424. 800-280-2424. That's 800-280-2424.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA, so we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't hate, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Now, back to the Gashouse Gang on your home of the St. Louis Cardinals. 1120 AM, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM, KMOX, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Mike Claiborne and Chris Ranji, it's good to have you with us this afternoon. The game tonight will happen at 7:15. 6:20 for the pregame show. Matt Pauley is going to have that. Prior to that, more Cardinals talk at 5. We have the Redbird Rush Hour that happens at 5 o'clock every weekday, as long as the Cardinals game is not happening at that time. Sometimes we have East Coast games and it doesn't work out. But tonight, Redbird Rush Hour at 5 o'clock, then the 6:20 pregame show. All right, so Claibs, I mentioned the defense, which I think is important for the Cardinals. Clearly it is, because they have not been a high strikeout team. And I like the fact that it is being noticed from a national perspective. When you have Jeff Passan, who is digging into the numbers and digging into why the defense has been what it is and how it's helping the Cardinals win, I'm glad that somebody is noticing. You know, somebody outside of St. Louis is noticing, and a prominent baseball writer is. And I asked John the question, John Rooney, about, to the eye test, what does it look like? Why do you think they have been better defensively this year? Is it coaching? Is it collection of players? Combination of all of it? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think that's probably it. It's a combination. This is a team that truly pays attention to detail. There's a lot of work that goes on before the game. I think that something that's overlooked is positioning. When you're putting guys in the right spots where it looks a little easier. I thought the game we had last Saturday in Kansas City was one of the best games I've seen defensively in a long, long time. And they don't beat themselves. They throw to the right base. They know what they're doing. They're communicating. And I think it starts from the dugout to the field. I think these coaches have done a phenomenal job in preparing these guys to give them a better chance to win. And there's a lot of work that goes into this. I mean, you have coaches who show up at noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon for a 7 o'clock game. And there's a lot of things that go on that really puts these guys in a great position to succeed. And the defense is really, in my opinion, the biggest difference maker. I mean, obviously pitching, you have to have it. But, man, you know what? If you have a guy that if he can't catch the ball, if he doesn't throw to the right base, the game does not allow you to make that mistake on a regular basis and expect to win. And the way the Cardinals have played so far this year defensively, it's a real tip of the cap. And the reason why Passan wrote that story, he was at the game Saturday night.
Yeah.
So he saw firsthand how good this team is. And most nights they're that way. They seldom have the Cardinals beaten themselves defensively this year.
You know how it is also, Claibs, with and I don't know how much the Cardinals do it, but in terms of like taking infield prior to games, a lot of players don't like doing it because they feel as if it's punishment or just busy work, or I don't want to call it busy work, but they don't like having to do it. Usually all that stuff happens spring training. Is it different now, or is it becoming more different where they are more open to doing that prior to games?
They have days where they'll go out and take infield as a collective group. When I was growing up, and I'm sure you saw it as well, in the 80s for sure, you took infield every day. And when the Cardinals had Ozzie and Tommy Herr and Keith Hernandez and guys like that, and Terry Pendleton came along later, it was like watching the Harlem Globetrotters. I mean, it was fun.
Yeah.
And I wish they'd bring it back, but, they don't do it every day. I think one of the hardest working guys that I see on the infield is Brendan Donovan. Donovan is taking balls at second base, at third base, at shortstop. He really puts a lot of work in and that's one of the reasons why he's a utility Gold Glover. But a lot of times guys do it upon themselves to go out, and they'll have somebody hit them balls. And we're not just talking about the lollygag, but the softies. I mean, they're hitting, game environment balls to them. So it's something that I think they're proud of. And the only way they're going to get better is they still work at it, and they don't take anything for granted.
All right. We have another 4-pack of tickets to give away to see the Cardinals play at Busch Stadium on Sunday, Cardinals Diamondbacks. And here's what we need you to do. We also need you to know that you got to have the Ballpark app. So you need a working, valid email and the Ballpark app, which is how tickets are pretty much distributed now. We're looking for caller number 5 to the contest line at 314-955-1120, 314-955-1120. Best of luck to you, and enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, and hopefully you'll get to go see the Cardinals play. And if you don't win tickets today, well, just go buy them. Go get some tickets, man. It's gonna be nice tonight anyway, and it might be a little rainy over the next couple of days, but you could sit through it, have some hot dogs or whatever. I love
plenty of things. A lot of fun at the ballpark. So come on out.
All right, Claibs live at Lowe's tonight. Jose Martinez, Chip Carey with you at the Bullock, right across the street from the ballpark. After the post-game show, you guys will be on. So looking forward to that. Thanks, dude.
All right. Take care. Have a good weekend.
Mike Claiborne, part of the broadcast team. 6:20 pregame show tonight. 7:15 first pitch. Cardinals and Diamondbacks at Busch Stadium. All right. We'll talk to you on Monday on Memorial Day. Have a great weekend. I'll be back with the Chris and Amy show at 9, and then we'll have the Gashouse Gang at 12 o'clock. That is happening on Memorial Day. Stay safe, everyone. Dave Glover is next on 104.1 FM KMOX.